False accusations and the denial of men's emotional pain. 3 young men faced a gauntlet at Duke University in 2006. They were falsely accused of rape. The female liar was a black woman who later was convicted of murder. She had falsely accused before. But the school saw this as a bonanza. 3 upper-middle-class white boys raping a black woman. It was a perfect storm that fit the narrative about race and gender, and the rigidly politically correct gender warriors of Duke University were off to the races. And as an aside, if they had checked the Department of Justice stats, they would have seen that the rape of black women by white men is nearly non-existent and is actually represented by a 0.0%. But this fact did not slow them down. Everyone joined in to bash these falsely accused young men. The faculty, notoriously labeled as the Group of 88, bashed them by joining in the protests at their home and to write an official advertisement condemning them, encouraging shaming while they assumed them guilty prior to any fact-gathering or judicial proceedings. The students protested their home by banging pots, drums, and pans outside their residence, holding hateful signs including ones that encouraged their castration, and the Duke administration stewarded the entire process. Now, the community wasn't that much better. The police and the lawyers all joined in. Naifang, the prosecuting attorney, joined in so hard that he was later disbarred. This tsunami of hatred is what false accusation looks like. One-sided, hateful, and rigidly allergic to the truth. The only thing that saved these young men from prison terms was their parents' money. They had enough to buy good legal representation who exposed the lies and the hatred foisted on these young men by so many. It took them a year, but they succeeded in proving these boys were innocent, which of course they were. We all celebrated their success in proving their innocence, but few focused on the psychological hell these young men went through that year and beyond. Much is written about the experience of rape victims, but almost nothing has been written about the falsely accused and the chaos they go through. Think about these young men. What was it like to be them? Everyone turned on them due to a lie from a mentally ill and criminally corrupt woman. Everyone believed the liar as they'd been taught that women don't ever lie about rape. Never. If you're accused, you're guilty. That lesson was well received by everyone except for those 3 young men who knew that it was total bullshit. But what about their plight? What was it like to be them? Everyone turns on you. Classmates, professors, administration, police, lawyers, judges, community, everybody. I dare you to put yourself in their place for even a few seconds. I doubt you can do it. It's too much. And you are not alone. We keep hearing that false accusations of rape make it harder on real rape victims. Well, really? There may be a kernel of truth in this idea, but it completely ignores the trauma and pain of the man who is falsely accused. The knee-jerk reaction of most people is to worry over the woman and ignore the pain of the man. This pattern to focus on females in emotional pain and to offer help while ignoring the emotional pain of men and boys is the default in the United States. This not only leaves our men and boys without help, it also leaves us with an ignorance about their emotional pain. To get a sense of the emotional pain of the falsely accused, listen to the words of a young man falsely accused of rape via an article on Slate.com. Here's what he says. My girlfriend was raped several years ago. I was falsely accused of rape less than a year ago. I contacted her. I had known her before her incident because I was desperate for someone to talk to who would understand what I was going through. To my great relief, it turned out that we understood each other very well. From the initial stages of suicidal thoughts and not being able to function to the long-term fear, mistrust, and guilt that are facts of our lives, it turns out that her experience of being raped and mine of being falsely accused of rape were very similar. He touches on some of the hallmarks of false accusation, which he and his girlfriend realized were very similar to her reaction of having been raped. The loss of functioning, the suicidal thoughts, the long-term fear and mistrust, along with the potent guilt and shame, are a few of their similar reactions. It often starts out innocently enough. He hears that she's accused him of something he didn't do. He's not so worried, at least not at first. He knows he did nothing wrong and figures that when people get the facts, that this will blow over like a dark cloud that never rains a drop. But to his shock, he starts seeing that even when he speaks the truth about what actually happened, he's still considered a criminal. But our young falsely accused man goes a step farther in his descriptions of his situation. Listen to what he says. One important difference, though, is that when she was violated, she received a great deal of help, medical, legal, psychological. Apart from families and friends, I was on my own. My legal and psychological problems had to be dealt with by me, and at a time when I couldn't sleep, eat, think, or even except for thinking about killing myself. He sees very clearly that very few believe him, while nearly everyone believes the woman. The system and our culture are failing him. His pain is invisible, while hers is treated with reverence, even though she's lying. He must be shocked by the amount of coddling and care that she gets from friends, family, university, authorities, and so many others. He's likely shocked again when he compares this to the reaction he receives. Almost no support, but plenty of negatives. In most instances, the woman is believed no matter what. Thanks to taxpayer-funded feminist re-education, the police ignore his side and treat him like a rapist. The media is more than happy to paint him as if convicted and throw his name around willy-nilly with at least the inference that he's a rapist. Rape centers make demands that all those claiming to have been raped should be believed no matter what. While it might be a good idea to put your trust in someone in crisis, it quickly turns to crap if you put your trust in someone who's lying. The rape center refuses to admit there are liars out there, and they'll go to great lengths to shame the police, the hospital, the media, the public, or anybody who might even ask a question about the veracity of her claims. This sets us up for a real mess. By giving the liars a pass, you set up the falsely accused for chaos. As time goes on, he realizes that he's basically alone in his knowledge of the truth. Nobody believes him. Even his friends are wondering. He starts to feel way out on a limb and also very shocked. It's just hard to believe that your entire universe of friends, teachers, adults, and everybody are looking at you sideways due to the lies of a woman. It's hard to believe that a system of justice has gotten things so wrong and is intentionally and wrongfully painting you as a criminal. The world, which not long ago seemed safe and predictable, has now become unsafe and very unpredictable. This promotes confusion and the devastating isolation that's so common for the falsely accused, along with the potent fears of the world being a big, unpredictable booby trap. They feel isolated, profoundly judged and labeled, unsafe and alone in a world that's gone mad. This is a billboard that says double standard. While the emotional plight of the young woman is given support at every step by friends, family, and police, courts, the media, and others, the emotional state of the young falsely accused male is ignored and denied. He is viewed as the problem. She is automatically seen as a victim simply because she accuses him. He's seen as a pariah simply for being accused. He is in great pain and turmoil, but no one lifts a finger to be of assistance. The sad fact is, he is presumed guilty prior to trial. He's now seen as an object, not a human being. He is profoundly objectified. The double standard could not be more stark. The larger problem is that this pattern of catering to the emotional pain of females and ignoring the emotional pain of males is not exclusive to false accusations. You see this same pattern almost every place you look. In my work with traumatized men over the past 30 years, I've seen it repeatedly. Time and again, I would see that a traumatized family, the men's wives would be the focus of help, and the man's pain would be ignored. So many times I saw that people would approach the father, and rather than ask about his situation, they'd say, "How's your wife holding up?" The woman gets the support, the man gets asked about his wife. We could do a long list of issues where this is true, whether it's domestic violence, false accusation, male suicide, divorce and separation, and on and on. Men face disinterest and shaming around their issues of emoting, and false accusations is one area where it's profoundly hurtful. And let's keep in mind, men are good. As are you. If you find this video helpful, please consider supporting my work on Patreon. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff.